Hi guys, what's up peoples? This is Kalel Speaks. I am Kalel. Nice to meet you all. If you followed me, you also know that I go by KJ the Indigo also. So you can find my other channels, I guess, if you wish. You'll probably find a lot more information there. But I was guided to start this channel right here, okay? So this is what I'm doing. Now, I know I said I was going to be back with Libra's reading shortly. And in all honesty, I took my time because I did not want to do Libra's reading simply because I kept picking up on a lot of animosity. I don't know what is going on with you guys' tribe right now, okay? But I feel like there's just a lot of negative energy that was in it. And again, I don't read for karmics. So I kind of wanted to let that energy die down so that you guys can get a fulfilling reading, okay? Without all the weird interruptions and interference and things like that, okay? So now what comes out, comes out. Y'all already know how I am. If it clicks, let it stick. If it don't apply, let it fly, okay? Don't comment me in the comments, okay? Like, God is the one that said it. So if you got an issue, take that upstairs to management, okay? I am simply a messenger, okay? So let's get started, you guys. I'm so excited to do your reading. Life be life, and y'all. But we stay prayed up, okay? All right. Okay, so let's get started. Father, Mother, Goddess, ancestors, spirit guides, creator of all things, please part the veil so that I may receive clear insight. Oh, I didn't even finish that. Oh, King of Wands in the reverse. Okay, so some of you may be feeling out of control of a situation. Maybe you feel like you lost control of a situation. Okay, you may be feeling out of touch with yourselves at the moment. Some of you may be dealing with someone who's a little toxic, okay? It may be an Aries, Leo, or a Sag. Okay. So let's see what's going on here. Please part the veil so that I may receive clear, concise messages for my Libra collective. All right. We ask Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, please protect our space, our energy, the energy of our loved ones and the innocent parties that may show up in this reading. We ask the enemy, I don't know how to say why enemy. Somebody here they might stutter or like their name may begin with an N possibly. So any negative energy, entities, or bad juju being sent in our direction, please return the sender tenfold by tenfold, because what? We don't play that round here. Okay, you can send it if you want to. I'm gonna light some sage, I'm gonna pray about it, and I'm gonna send it humming back. So please don't do that. Don't do that up in here. Okay, so let's see what's really going down in Libra town. Ooh, Ten of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so you guys might be healing from some sort of betrayal or something like that, or maybe I feel like there was a perceived betrayal here. I know Libras, y'all will do that. Okay, you will go off the deep end because you think something is going on, or you may perceive something a certain kind of way, and you turn to find out later that it wasn't really like that. So, I feel like here with the Ten of Swords in the reverse, I feel like what you thought may have been going on, or what you perceived as a betrayal of some kind, really was not, okay? And if you thought somebody was trying to be malicious towards you or something like that, they really were not, okay? I feel like you're coming to realize that, okay? For some of you, you guys are healing from this. You're starting to realize that maybe you need to leave certain things in the past, or certain things, maybe people, places, things, habits behind, okay, that may not be serving you well. Okay, they might actually be far more detrimental to you than you initially thought. And I feel like some of you are discovering how to remove certain issues and obstacles from your life. You're learning not to give people that don't deserve it the benefit of the doubt, or trusted people that you know don't mean you well. Okay. Four of Pentacles. Yeah, you're starting to withhold your energy. You drew all the way back, okay? Something told you hold your horses. I don't know what it was. Maybe you had a plan at some point in doing something. Maybe you had some sort of animosity towards someone else. But something told you you need to fully retreat, okay? Maybe step back and look at it from a different angle, you know? Maybe for some of you, someone withdrew from you here. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles. Okay. In the reverse. Okay. Yeah. This was, yeah, you realized that things were even out. Things would be a lot easier for you if you just kind of stepped back a little bit and looked at something from a different angle. I think you realized that, like, just because somebody doesn't do something to your standard or like the way that you do something, it doesn't mean that they're wrong, okay? They just may have found a more efficient way of doing it. There may be somebody in your life who's trying to come down on you or make you feel guilty for choosing a different path in your career. They feel like hard work is good work. And for you, you might be one of those people that works smart and not hard, okay? So maybe you don't have a job that's laborious at all. And somebody might be trying to make you feel bad about that. Maybe you felt like somebody at your work was being sneaky. Maybe they undercut you or something like that. For some of you, you may have lost a position and you may have felt like there was some foul play there, but there really wasn't, you know? And you might be having to take a step back and realize that. Yeah, Page of Cups. Sorry, guys, I tried to help. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay. But yeah, no, some of you walked into a situation and you weren't seeing it clearly. Maybe you were being a little too optimistic. Maybe you being, some of you were entering a situation where you were being a little bit immature. So you didn't have all the information, or you were just so excited about it that you just kind of dove into it and you didn't really think about it all the way through. So yeah, you might be a little, I feel like some of you may have dedicated a lot of time, energy, and effort into a situation, possibly a person. And maybe because you thought it was easier. I feel like for some of you, you felt like it was easier for you to kind of dial it back, for you to retreat and then like just ignore certain parts of the situation that were letting you know that you needed to let it go, okay? And you were not listening to your intuition. You were possibly misconstruing the situation in your mind to feed your own narrative. But I feel like at this point, you're realizing that that's not what the case was, okay? Maybe you had somebody around you that was being immature and like, I feel like somebody here that either you're dealing with, Libra, or maybe you yourself, you may be taking a step back because you lost a position due to your lack of maturity emotionally, or you were refusing to look at the situation realistically, okay? So for some of you, it is somebody in your midst that's being emotionally immature, okay? But I feel like for you, it's just you have the tendency to go in your head and kind of create this fantasy. And sometimes you guys don't want to acknowledge, you know, the reality of the situation, because it is easier to just say, you know what, I'm just going to retreat within myself. It's let me live my fantasy. But that really does complicate things in life. Okay, so you may have, you know, gone in your head about something thinking it was one way and it really wasn't. Okay, yeah, what I say, the High Priestess in the reverse, you were ignoring your intuition here. Okay, so intuitively you were picking up on the fact that, so here's what I'm getting, Libra. You guys may have a friend that is very mouthy, right? They gossip a lot, okay? They may have down talked a person to you and made you believe that this person was foul in some kind of way, right? They betrayed you in some kind of way. And in all actuality, that's not what happened at all. You've picked up on it intuitively that maybe you were gallivanting down the wrong path, or you were barking up the wrong tree on some level, but you ignored it, right? You withdrew from that person or that situation because it was just easier to be immature about it. It was easier to just feed the fantasy. And now I feel like you're kind of stuck in a situation here. You may be in some sort of lack. I feel like you're coming to understand that it's not that person's fault if you lost out on something, or you lost at something, or you lost something or someone due to your inability to look at the situation realistically and pay attention to certain details. You get what I mean? Because that's the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse as well. It's a lack of attention to detail. Okay, so maybe you didn't ask the right questions or something like that. You're looking back, you're realizing there was things that you missed. Yeah, Empress energy, okay? Yeah, so you're getting more in contact with your emotions here. You're looking at something from a higher perspective, okay? You're being more mature about it. You're taking a more mature approach, and I feel like internally you're taking a more mature approach. Okay, I see you, Libra. You're emotionally growing up because you realize that the way you were handling things before is not necessarily helping you, okay? You're not getting the results that you want because you're not putting in the work. You're just taking the easy route. Or somebody else did this to you. Like, it was easier. Maybe you've known that person longer, whatever the case may be. But maybe you didn't want to rock the boat in a situation. So you just kind of gave in, okay? You could have lost your position to somebody. I feel like maybe if you guys did lose a position, if there was no foul play, they just gave it to the person that was the most qualified. And I'm sorry, Libra, but you're coming out as the Page of Cups, and this person is coming out as the Empress. So maybe it was just, they just had higher level of education, or like I said, they were more qualified than you. They could have been more equipped to handle the situation than you. And that's all it was. They just have more experience and more knowledge under their belt than you. That's it. There was nobody undercut you, Libra. Nobody undercut you. And you fought the situation, but the thing is, you didn't, there was no reason. If this is something that has to do with a friend or something like that, you had no reason to jump in at all, Libra. You were being immature in this situation, and you weren't using your intuition when your intuition was trying to tell you you need to pay more attention to details. Because I feel like this person definitely, Six of Wands. So, like I said, the person that you wanted to believe, yeah. For some of you, this is a situation that has to do with the masculine. I'm picking up on a situation where the masculine may have been talking, if they're a feminine Libra or masculine, it doesn't matter. But I feel like you had a masculine friend, right? And they have somebody who's a baby mama or whatever, ex-wife, whatever. Or baby mama, because the Empress is usually pregnant, right? That's motherhood. Or maternal figure. Like, I feel like they withdrew from your friend, and it was easier for the child, okay? Because that's also childlike energy. It was just easier for the child for them to withdraw from the situation and withhold and retreat within themselves, or going about their life, because they didn't want to do the circus act. And the way that your friend portrayed the situation to you, I feel like may have kind of put a little stick in your craw a little bit. Like, the way they depicted this person made them seem as though there's somebody that deserved your wrath. Okay, somebody needs to go get this person. Somebody needs to hit. And whole time you're coming to realize that was never the case. There was no foul play there. It was just easier for the child because your friend is difficult. Okay, your friend is difficult for no reason, and apparently they might be a little lazy too. They weren't willing to share the responsibility. So by that being the case, right, you knew intuitively, possibly some of you may be parents yourselves, and you knew something was wrong with the story, whether this is a career thing, a familial thing. You knew deep down, right, that something was off. You were missing something there, right? But you went ahead, right, and you supported this person anyway. And now you're coming to find out that this person is legit. Baby mama checks out. They're actually a stand-up individual, right? They rightfully, they do what's right for the kid, no matter what that causes them to have to endure. So now you're like, I should have quit while I was ahead, because now I feel like you guys might be dealing with a situation where that did not work out well for you at all. You get what I mean? But yeah, Page of Swords. You started collecting more information, Libra. You started asking more questions. You started researching. You started finding out for yourself. You started reading over old text messages, going over old documents, maybe rereading emails and things like that. And you're realizing maybe you could have went and investigated this person yourself. Okay. And that's how you know for a fact, like, oops, I made a boo-boo here. I was being immature. I wasn't looking at the situation fully for what it was. Excuse me. I was letting my emotions get the best of me. And I really needed to ask more questions. So now you have a little bit more clarity on the situation. I feel like, Libra, if this was somebody that you were friends with that tried to blur your vision here spiritually, they tried to distort your discernment on something. I feel like if you started asking questions, this person was vague with their answers. If you started to ask the right questions and get to certain information, then I feel like they were trying to obscure the information a little bit. They started to withhold certain details from you. And I feel like that's when you started to realize that the foul play was not exactly, the betrayal wasn't on the side of the other person. You're standing on the same side as the traitor. Okay? So that's why you had to step back and kind of go, okay. If this was a career situation, you're like, you know what? Some of you were like, okay, you know what? They got me fair and square. This is why this happened. So you started to go back to school. Maybe you decided to pick up some extra courses or something, or you decided to go back and get some more credentials. Maybe you decided to take check into a trade program or something like that. Something where you can further develop your education, okay? Maybe earn a degree, okay? Maybe that's why some people, for some of you, you got beat out because that person had a higher degree than you, they have a higher education level than you. And so you're like, okay, I need to stop throwing a pity party for myself. I need to stop throwing a temper tantrum here, and I need to get my butt in gear, okay? Let's see. Yeah, 3 of Cups. So yeah, that person, I feel like, yeah, there was definitely a third party interference here with the 3 of Cups. There was definitely a third party interference. See, one person, like I said, they're authentic. The Empress energy here is authentic. So there's divine feminine energy here. Some of you are in your divine feminine energy. I feel like you're getting up to that point. You're graduating to that level, or you're elevating to that level, okay? Because you're shifting your thinking. You're shifting your mindset. You're not so deep into well, this person did this, and if it wasn't for this person, then da-da-da. And you're like, no. I could have done better in this situation. I could have shown up better in this situation. I could have paid more attention. I could have asked the right questions. I could have already had my credentials prepared before I even applied for the position, okay? You're taking accountability here, okay? But I do see that there's a third party interference here. somebody here provided you with certain details because they wanted you on their side, okay? They wanted to clink glasses with you and kiki with you about the other person. But again, I'm picking up on like a masculine energy. This was definitely a friend of yours, Libra, that tried to bash a divine feminine energy to you. And what you're coming to find out is that that person actually checks out. Okay, they're actually good peoples. They're very friendly, or they have a lot of friends. Maybe not a huge friend group, but people definitely enjoy celebrating with this person. They enjoy hanging out with this person, right? This masculine could have told you that this feminine cheated on them or something like that. That is not true, okay? They cheated on this feminine, okay? They betrayed the feminine, okay? Pay attention. Now, you can hear that in certain details. I feel like you're realizing that also somebody here may be, you may be noticing that this person may be an alcoholic. Okay, they always want to go, let's go out for drinks. You want to drink with me? Let's do that. And then under the influence, they expose certain details that made you kind of go, you didn't say that last time. And then they try to manipulate you, right? But you know what you know, right, Libra? Now, this is a career situation. I do sense that there was someone, maybe a coworker, right, that kind of put a bug in someone else's ear about you thinking that they were going to get the position. I feel like that backfired in their face. I really do. So now they're questioning, they're coming to you, trying to smile in your face and questioning to you like, well, I don't see why they got it and we didn't get it and da-da-da. Well, they just got here. And it's just like, you know what? I was fine where I was, okay? But you wanted to bring up my education level. You wanted to bring up my credentials. Never mind the fact that my skill set, my skill level allows me to do this job blindfolded, right? No, you wanted to be sneaky and undercut me. I do get that sense, but I feel like they pushed you in a direction towards another coworker because they don't want you finding out that it was them, because this is somebody who smiles in your face. They go to happy hour with you, okay? They come to your house, okay? They hang out with you. They call each other, they call themselves your friend, okay? Yeah, 4 of Swords. Yeah. You may have realized that this person suffers from some sort of mental illness. The Star card and the 3 of Swords as I was shuffling. Yeah, they're hiding things. Whatever they were doing in the darkness is being exposed. Yeah, whatever they were hiding from you, Libra, oh, it's all out in the open now, honey. It is all out there now. They are not even. Yeah, they don't like the fact that they're facing your judgment right now, okay? So I could be speaking to a feminine Libra, okay? You have been through, again, it could be masculine, take where it resonates, okay? You have been through far too much to not see certain things, right? You've already been in situations where people have done this to you, where they've tried to insult your intelligence, where they have tried to manipulate you emotionally, where you could be just a very sensitive individual. And so they use that against you, Libra. Like I tell people all the time, because my brother's a Libra, my cousin's a Libra, and I notice that those scales can tip very easily. Y'all are a lot more sensitive than you like to let on. And there's people around you that will use that against you to serve their own agenda. You got to be mindful of that, Libra, okay? You got to be very leery, okay? Shout out to Ali Sadiq, okay? I love him. He's a great comedian. You guys got to watch his stand-up, okay? But yes, you have to be leery, of people sometimes. When they're pushing something a little bit too much, when they're pushing a narrative a little too hard, like, you kind of have to ask certain questions sometimes. Like, what are you, especially if it has nothing to do with your personal life, you're telling me that, I have a tendency to ask people, you're telling me this because, like, what does this have to do with me? How does this information help me in life? I don't do the gossip, y'all. I don't. Because to me, it's just stupid. Like, why don't you go holler at that person and tell them how you feel? I don't understand why you're telling me. It's one thing to vent to a friend and things like that, but I feel like when you get to the point where people are pushing a certain narrative, or they're trying to get you to have, they're saying certain things, right? Particular things, because they want you to develop an idea of that person. They want you to have a certain reaction to that person. They want you to be deterred or something like that. If you notice that whenever you say, oh, well, maybe it was this, and they double down on this person being just scum of the earth kind of energy, you kind of have to question the intention at that point of why they're giving you this information. Okay? Especially if it's somebody that you don't know. That's just weird to me. Like, you are so hell-bent on making me hate somebody that I don't even know. That's weird. Anyway, like that, and that person never did anything to you. Like, the Ten of Swords is in the reverse. They never did anything to you. Okay? So let's see. I'm gonna get the Oracle cards and get you guys out of here. What's the Ten of Swords? Clarify the Ten of Swords reverse for me. Yeah, distance. They just distanced themselves. That's all. They just went on about their life. That's it. There's nothing wrong with what they did. They just said, okay, I wish you well, bye. Like, that was all. So if it's the first thing, I feel very strongly it's the other narrative that I had. Okay, the distance was best. It was the healthiest decision for the situation. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, love is love. I am who I am. I love who I love. I can only be judged by the Most High above. Okay? Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like this person somebody didn't understand that there's different forms of love, right? And this person had a clear understanding of what love is and what love is not. And so they had enough love for themselves, for their child or whatever, to distance themselves from this person. Okay? There was no, that's it. It's all it was, right? That's all it was. This could have been somebody who expected them because they were in a relationship with them, or they had, some type of soul tie or something like that. They expected them to take whatever off of them. And that just wasn't, they weren't going for it, okay? Divine Feminine was not going for it, okay? Divine Feminine is not going to allow that. Somebody could have tried to play on your top, Libra, and be like, well, if you love me, then this, that, and the third, and this. No, that's not true. That's not true. Okay? There's different forms of love, and there's different ways of showing it, and there's nothing wrong with disconnecting from somebody if you feel like they're just trying to give you whatever. If they're peeing on your leg and calling it rain, there's nothing wrong with moving on. Yeah, what I say, third eye chakra, you knew. Over the Four of Pentacles, you knew somewhere that something was wrong. You knew that they weren't telling you something. You knew that there was details that were missing. This person was being vague, and every time they were vague on certain things, or every time details in the story changed, or every time they withheld some kind of information from you, you knew something was wrong. You knew it was off. Okay? Leo, okay? Yes, so it was strong intuition. It was strong intuition that was telling you. Or if this has to do with a friend or someone else, maybe you decided to like withhold certain information from them. Okay, because intuitively, you knew that this person was kind of like, they may have been a bit of a bully. Okay, they may have been narcissistic. And so there was something in your little antenna was going off. Okay, there were red flags, Libra. There were red flags. There were plenty of them. That it was rearing its ugly head. Okay, this person's bully side, their darker side, their domineering side, it was rearing its ugly head, and it was a red flag. And something in your head said, Libra, that's not normal. And you were like, no, it's okay. No, it wasn't. No, it was not. You should have ran while you had the chance, hon. No. Yes, sacral chakra in the reverse. Yeah, this person has no motivation. They had no motivation. And in all honesty, they had no reason. They had no solid justification for doing what they did, Libra, okay? They were trying to put a battery in your back just because I feel like they had drained themselves trying to go after this person, trying to deter people from this person, or maybe trying to get at you. Like, I really feel like it's the first one. Yeah. There was no reason for them to do what they did at all. I feel like it was easier for Divine Feminine to withhold their energy. And if you're the Divine Feminine in the situation, you just said, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna hold back here because you're freaking weird, dude. If you're the female friend of this person, like, you realize that they're narcissistic and you're like, you're getting weird, okay? Yeah, Taurus energy here. They didn't wore themselves out. They have worn themselves out. Being stubborn, being overly aggressive for no reason. Like, they had run out of energy, time, and resources to go after this person. They could not stand against this person, is how I feel. So I feel like, Libra, they were trying to put a battery in your back to go after that person. And then, like, you slowly but surely realize that your friend they're psycho, okay? They're psycho. As much as you, again, I see it. Page of Cups here, loyalty. You were trying to be a loyal friend, but you realize there's something wrong with this story. They're not giving you the full play-by-play, okay? They were hiding things from you. Ooh, see, grudge and I love you. What'd I say? Someone here was holding a grudge. Yeah, they were. Okay, your friend Libra got issues. Okay, you might want to tell them go to therapy because they were holding a grudge against someone for choosing their child. The love for themselves and their child over them. That's how they felt, when really it shouldn't have been a competition at all. There's different kinds of love, okay? I can love you and love my child, but that's two different types of love. You know, just like you can love your partner and love your parents. That's two different types of love. One can't compete with the other one. They're on different levels. It's different dynamics there. So it doesn't even make sense. So your friend was holding a grudge against possibly an ex, a baby mama, whatever, Divine Feminine. They were doing that because this person, and they were trying to obscure your view of this person because they understand what love is and they weren't going to accept anything less. Okay? They love themselves enough and their child enough to walk away, because I'm still feeling that there was a child here or somebody here was just being emotionally immature. They didn't understand. Okay? They think that if somebody loves them or if they're a part of their family dynamic or whatever, they're supposed to put up with all of their mess. And then when you call them out on it, they go, well, I thought you loved me. Yeah, I do. But I love me too. And I will leave you. I tell people that, like, I love you. Yes. I even tell my kids that. I love you. Yes, I do. You can't understand how much I love you. However, I love me too. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm protecting myself and my energy as well. So if that means that I gotta push you away or remove myself from you for a while, I will. I will do that crap. I will go in my room and I will tell my kids, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to talk to you right now. Because what you did was foul. Okay? And I'm a very big-hearted person. You gotta do a lot to offend me and make me detached from you, bro. You gotta do a lot. And I see Libra, you were trying to hold on for dear life. You were trying to go in there for the long haul. But this person weird, okay? Ooh, 2 of them fell out. Confusion and 911 in the reverse, okay? This person was trying to make you feel like lack of prudent planning on your behalf does not constitute an emergency on mine, okay? You found out what really happened in the situation. Okay? So this person's secrets came flying out. I don't know if you did the research, Libra. I don't know if you looked up case search or something like that for your state or whatever the case was, but somebody even tried to make this person seem like they were some sort of criminal or something like that, or they were involved in some sort of heavy criminal activity, or that they needed to be arrested or under investigation or something like that. And you're finding out that your friend is a bold-faced lie, okay? So you might be disconnecting from this person. You might be disconnecting from this person. Okay? That's just how I feel. And I don't blame you, Libra, honestly, because that's weird, you know? Like, you want me to stand by your side, but you're lying to me. You're not telling me certain things that I may need to know to genuinely help you. Like, you're being weird to me. Okay? What's Empress? I'll clarify Empress here. So we have Virgo in the reverse. Yeah. So Virgo upright says, I'm attractive, I'm smart, you must be unique to claim my heart. So they tried to, yeah, in the reverse. Yeah, so they tried to downplay divine feminine to you, Libra. They tried to make this person seem like they were the wicked witch of the motherfucking West. Okay, old school version. Okay, old school version. Not alphabet version, like not the new school where you see that the villain is actually the hero. No, they try to villainize divine feminine to you, Libra. Like or your divine feminine in this situation, which I feel like is a separate energy. Not that you're not divine feminine. It's just I'm feeling an outside energy from that. Like I really feel like this person's ex-wife, baby mama, something of that nature. And because they want this person back, don't let them lie to you and say they don't, okay? They really wanted you to believe that this was a nasty person. And they're not. They're really not. Up what I say, divorce in the reverse. It says, I wish I never committed to you. You ruined my life. They want this person back. They're trying to hold on to something that's already done. Okay? They were trying to figure out a way to rope you into a situation to have this woman caught in some sort of toxic cycle, and you were going to be a middleman, and you were going to get caught up in all this BS and tomfoolery. And how good of a friend are they, Libra, if they don't mind destroying your life also? They don't mind taking you down with them. They don't. Okay? Where's the Six of Wands? Yeah, sneak attack. Where you can't see me, I wait to snap. Where I've set the perfect trap. Yeah. Okay. You might have that. They plotted and planned on this person. Or I feel, yeah. See, Libra, they might have got you caught up in a situation where you didn't realize that you could be in trouble with the authorities for certain things. Maybe you didn't realize that this person was under investigation for something or something like that. But I feel like maybe they had you do something that you didn't realize you could actually face charges for or be considered as an accomplice to. Okay? But you realize this person was trying to set up someone who's actually legit, okay? They don't deserve that. They're a stand-up individual and they've already been through a lot. Yeah, they tried to set you up, Libra. They tried to set you up, okay? You realize this person tried to set you up. Like, they're trying to set this person up, but they tried to set you up. They didn't care if you got caught in the trap. They didn't care if you got taken down also. They didn't care. You're learning that now. You realize that now. Like, and now you want nothing to do with them because you realize, like, oh my God, you are a sick person. You're weird. Yeah, see, root chakra, Page of Swords. So you went ahead and did a little background check and realized who this person is. Like, you did your research. Good job, Libra. I always tell people that don't listen to everything that you hear. My grandmother used to tell me that. Well, she passed away before she got a chance to tell me, but my mom used to tell me that too, because she said she used to tell her that. Like, believe some of what you see and none of what you hear. And if you looked at my grandmother, okay, God rest her soul, if you looked at my grandmother and said, well, this person said ... then she would go, well, their mouth don't look like no prayer book and they act don't look like any Bible I've ever read. So next, like, you know. I ain't trying to hear that. And I took that to heart. I did. Drama. Yep. You realize that this person is just, your friend is dramatic, is what you realize. They're a drama king. Okay. They're a drama king. And I'm not gonna lie, Libra, you might be a little bit of drama queen sometimes. But I feel like they were just playing on the fact that you can just be really sensitive, especially to certain things. Maybe you had a hard or toxic upbringing and they played on that, okay? They played on that for you, okay? They knew that. They knew that about you. So now you did a little bit of research and got to the root of the problem. You got to the bottom of the drama and you realized, I keep hearing it over and over again, your friend weird. Like, you might have another friend that you talk to about the situation and be like, yeah, your homeboy weird. Like, you need to stop talking to them. Yeah, 3 of Cups. Addicted. What did I say? What did I say? I know it hurts me, but I need this ish. I will do anything to get to it. See? I knew. I knew it. I knew it. This person's an alcoholic. They have no idea what they're talking about. They just want you to indulge with them. That's all. They just want to indulge in gossip. That's it. That's it. They want to indulge in gossip about divine feminine. That's all. Yeah. Bluff. I feel, okay, it says, I lie about the intentions I have, throwing stones and hiding my hands. Wolf tickets is what I sell. Around me, books is all you smell. I'm trying to tell you, Libra, I feel like this person is always inviting you out or something like that. Or they're trying to get you to come to their house. And like, oh, you won't believe what this person did. I can't believe, I need a drink. I need a drink. I need you to come. Or they tried to tell you this about divine feminine. And the whole time you realize, honey, that ain't them. They're the ones always asking you for something to drink. They could have been, honestly, Libra, I feel like this person could have been coming at you, asking you for money or something like that, but you were just feeding their habit. They weren't doing anything of substance with the money. Like, they weren't. They were lying to you about more than just this person or what they were doing in their life or why they even deal with you. What's the 4 of Swords? So you guys might be sitting back and healing now. Some of you guys might need to take a vacation. Gemini energy. Okay. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, you figured out this person's manipulative. Push and pull and break up. This person pushes you away a lot. They push you away and then they draw you back in. They push you away and they draw you back in. They push you away, they say all this messed up stuff about you, to you, whatever, and then they draw you back in. And you realize this is what they could have been doing with, they were trying to yo-yo you. They yo-yo you often. They yo-yo your emotions, they yo-yo other people, and you realize that's why Divine Feminine detached, because she's not about to be yo-yo, okay? That's not happening. This person shows one side of themselves to certain people and they show a totally different side. And maybe you realize that under the influence, that other side comes out full force, okay? They're mentally ill. And they can't hide it when they're under the influence. Yeah, twin flame, I have many lessons to teach. You have many lessons to teach and I have much to learn. Yeah, so you're learning. You got it. You were like, oh, okay, so this person is here to teach me about, yeah, you regret dealing with this person, Libra. You regret listening to them, being around them. Yeah, you blocked them. You blocked them. You told them, go to kid now. Get away from me. Go away. Go away, okay? Yeah. So now I feel like you're open to hearing what this other person has to say. You may be, I don't know, there may be a Capricorn involved. Okay. This person may be opening up to you at work. Okay. What they do for work. Or they may be disclosing to you that they're having money problems. Okay. They could be saying that there's a Capricorn involved. Now, Libra, here's the advice portion, right? Thank you so much. If you joined me thus far, please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, share for anyone who may need the message, okay? I am here for the message. Okay, so also, if you have anything that you want to know about me or whatever, it's all in the description box below, child. Just read it, okay? But reading is fundamental. Okay, but anyway, I feel as though the best thing you could have done for yourself is disconnect from this person. If you haven't yet, the best thing that you can do for yourself is disconnect from this person. Because if not, this person is going to cause you to have legal issues, okay? They're going to drag you down with them. And you'll be sitting there wondering what happened to your life. You allowed this person to close, okay? If you lost your position or something like that, this could be all encompassing. You could have lost your job behind this person. You could have, lost your home behind this person. You could be dealing with a lot right now because of this person. You could be under investigation yourself because of this person, because of all that they did. And now you're sitting here looking at this information, or you're being served with legal documents and things like that. And you're like, how did I get here? It's because you allowed this person too close. You allowed them too much access into your life. So you have to disconnect. Even if it is someone that maybe you guys started off as a friendship. I'm feeling like this whole story ties into one thing. In the past, you lost your position because of this person. And you thought to yourself that, oh, maybe, maybe I just, they were more qualified or whatever. But it was this person that stabbed you in the back. And then they tried to go ahead and, shift your energy to someone else because they wanted to keep you around. If they're a narcissist, which I'm really picking up on, then they saw you as ideal supply and they wanted to draw you in so that they can keep you as a part of their little battery pack. Okay. That's enough. Draw the line, Libra. Cut them off. Go rest, relax, regenerate, rejuvenate, recharge, baby. And then recalibrate, okay? Get back into your life, and whatever you do moving forward, if you took anything from this situation, be mindful of who you trust yourself, your energy, and your information with, okay? I would also say, make sure you check your information, Libra, because I feel like this is the kind of person that will steal your information too. They don't care. Okay. they're into all kinds of illegal activities, and they try to act like they're not. They try to sweep it under the rug. Okay, just breathe. Make sure you're covering your butt. Okay, just dig into this person. Okay, do your research on them, figure out who they are, and then I would say go into your information, like your social security, whatever, lock it down. Okay, if this person has ever had access to your banking information, I would freeze that account, I would shut it down, and I would move whole new banks, like if I was you. Okay, I don't know who needed to hear that, but honey, if you stick around, they're going to destroy your life. They have no problem doing it. Okay, those are just the facts. So I love you guys. Okay, please hit that like, subscribe, share button. Okay, and I will see you guys in the next reading. If you need to order anything, because I do sell bath teas, body butters, things like that. That's still on and poppin'. I'm going to put some on here because I have to restock, y'all. It sells out so fast. So just in the description box below. See you guys. Bye.